This is gonna be wild. So I went out hunting for gadgets that would completely transform how I play this guitar. And I gotta say, the hunt was a grand success. Got a lever that changes the pitch, snare drum, these handles bend the strings, and these black magnets are holding in a built-in reverb tank. It will probably break my brain trying to play this, but at the end of this video, I'm gonna play something using all these gadgets at the same time. Now, I'll quickly let you know that I just dropped a new 3-course bundle that focuses on the most important thing that we do on the instrument, rhythm guitar. We've got the course Into the Rhythm, which breaks down how the pros approach this side of the instrument. In elevated open chords, we look at some tricks, tips, and techniques to take those open campfire chords that everyone knows up to the next level. Like sliding around that open E shape. And in my brand new mini course, Chord Revolution, we look at some chords that you already know and use them in completely new ways. And for a limited time, this bundle is 70% off when you use the link in the description. Anyways, let's get back to it. Now, as a guy who's always on the hunt for gimmicky guitar gadgets, I figured it was time to bring the adventure to the acoustic, and why don't we start with this guitar itself? This is a Martin SC28E, one of the highest end performance guitars that Martin has to offer. It's a beautiful guitar with exceptional craftsmanship, and some might say I've done bad things to it. But let's get to the madness. The first gimmicky gadget that I added to this is hardly visible, but these black dots here are magnets that are holding in the echo spacer. This is a mechanical spring reverb unit for acoustic guitars, and I've absolutely never seen anything like it before. But I guess the concept is simple enough. When you play an acoustic guitar, the body resonates and it projects out the sound hole. But when the echo spacer is attached, the vibrations go through the springs, creating an echoey type of sound, which becomes part of the sonic texture. And when you simply press it against the body, you can clearly hear this effect in action. Installation was easy enough. Loosen the strings, get it into place, and secure it with the magnets. Let me show you an example of how this guitar sounds with and without the echo spacer. Next, we have the Tomorrow Drop Tuner, which allows you to drop the pitch of whatever string it's installed on with the flick of a switch. I put mine on the low E string, loosen the string, pop the nut out here. I put a piece of felt underneath to protect the wood. You're not supposed to use these with these kind of tuners, so this was my workaround. And the idea is when it's engaged, it's pressing your string down, and then when you release it, it releases that tension, dropping the pitch. I've got it tuned so that I can go from an E down to a low D, which is great for something like this. Next, we've got the Sam Jam guitar snare. You hit it, and you get a snare sound. So you know those guitar players that do all that percussion-y stuff? Well, I guess the idea is when you've got the guitar snare, you can drum up a whole new level of sound. Installation couldn't be easier. I don't even need to cut to B-roll for this one. You take it and you stick it wherever you want it. It says right here in the package that it's removable without a trace, and I believe it. I've had it all over my guitar, and there's no marks whatsoever. It's held on with this sticky tack stuff, which is surprisingly sticky, and there's a magnet which you can move around, which changes the tones. If you're playing live, you could use this to make some loop stuff like this. And I have pretty much no skill at that acoustic percussion-y hit your guitar type thing, but here's my attempt at that using this. And the last of the madness that I've added to this guitar are 2 Bowden benders that I've attached to the B and G strings. You see bender units now and then on electric guitars, but I don't think I've ever seen one on an acoustic. And the way that it works is you push down the lever, it tightens the string, and you get a bending type of sound. And the inventor of these makes a point in saying that they are non-invasive. There are no permanent modifications that have to happen to your guitar to add these. They're secured into place through the string holes. Your string then goes underneath and attaches onto a peg. Tune it up, and you're ready to get bendy. I've got the B bender set so that it goes up in pitch, the equivalent of 2 frets. Here's how you can incorporate that sound. The G's going up a half step. Here's this one in action. And of course, you probably end up using both together like this. that brings me to the official Sammy G review. Starting with the Acco Spacer, it comes as advertised. You get a nice little bit of spring reverb there without any of the electronics. It feels well built. I love how easy it is to install. It's nicely hidden, and the magnets are surprisingly strong. This thing's not moving anywhere. Now, I don't know if it has a ton of practical benefit. If I'm recording acoustic, I'm adding that in later. If I'm playing live, I can add that in as an effect. And if I'm just playing by myself or sitting around the campfire, I suppose it's a nice effect, but when I take it off, I don't find myself missing it a ton. But if that is something that you want, it does the job as well as you possibly could. Moving on to the Tomorrow Drop Tuner. Now, an important note, it says right on the website, it's not designed to work with bushing style tuners, which is exactly what I have. So I had to modify it to fit, and instead of sitting on a washer like it would on the proper tuning machines, I had to put that piece of felt in there so it didn't scrape up against the wood. But it does do the job well, and I think what's so great about this is you could hypothetically stick one on every single tuning machine and have a wealth of alternate tunings at your immediate disposal. Then we got the Sam Jam. It's not for me. I don't love the playing style that would make use of this. However, it does have a pretty nice snare sound. It does what it's meant to do, but I will say it always rattles. The magnet that you can move around to control the tone can also be used to dampen the rattling, but even then, it's still noisy to the point where it bothers me. Some players would probably find the benefits outweigh the cons, but it's not really for me. Finally, the Bowden, or maybe Bowden, B-benders. I love the sound of benders. You get a pedal steel type of thing, and you would never be able to get those sounds by physically bending your strings, especially with the thick acoustic strings. It's such a cool, unique timbre. I will never play this acoustic guitar the same way because of these things. However, it's a fairly bold stylistic choice, and I do find that they get in the way, especially if you're trying to play in a normal style, which is why this type of system would usually be engaged by a strap pin on an electric guitar. Once you got it dialed in, tuning's actually surprisingly stable with these. However, if you bump them, they shift a little bit and then you have to tune again. They're certainly not going to be for everyone, but I personally love what they add to the instrument. And with that, let's kick another jam with this. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, checking out a bunch of wild and weird acoustic guitar gadgets. Remember, my new Rhythm Guitar Course bundle is now out, and if you use the link in the description, you're gonna get all 3 of those courses 70% off, which is 3 courses for less than the normal price of one. You can pick up some of that sweet, sweet Sammy G merch over at shopsamuraiguitarist.com, and if you tag me in a picture of you wearing my merch, I'll put it up in a place like this and talk about how cool you look. Look how cool they look. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, look after yourselves, look after each other, look after the planet. I'm Samurai Guitarist, and I'll see you again soon.